Hello everyone, my name's Sean Woolley from Cloud9 Spain. With me today I have...
Emma Kavanagh, Business Development Manager.
Fancy title, huh? Dominic Marszek, I'm the Sales Director.
And we have Rebecca here. Sorry, you can introduce yourself.
No, you go ahead, it's fine.
Rebecca Want, who is the boss of Marbella Interiors, which is one of the, if not the leading home furnishings companies on the Costa del Sol. And we use Rebecca and her company to help our clients when they've bought a property in terms of decorating it, new furniture, whether it's a furniture package or a bespoke scheme. She can do anything. So we've used her successfully over the last 3 or 4 years, and our clients are very happy with her. So we wanted to bring her along today to talk about the importance of home staging. So by that I mean how we sell a property and the importance of how it looks when we come to sell it. We see thousands of properties a year, I would say, between us all, and I would say that I would only probably personally be interested in buying less than 5% of them, and primarily because of the way they look.
Yeah.
I would go even lower than 5.
Really?
Yeah. I'd go to like 1%.
Yeah. Dominic's a bit picky, a bit choosy. No, I think you're probably right, actually. I think because we are sort of saturated, we
You become more judgmental of what you see because you've seen so much.
Yeah. And, we often get asked by clients, why isn't my property selling? I've had it on with an agent for 2 years, nothing's happened. I'm getting lots of viewings, lots of people through the door, but it's just not going. And, normally if you're getting viewings, then the price is right. Normally if you're getting viewings but no offers, then there's something wrong with what people are seeing. And it's very difficult, isn't it, when you're an owner? It's your baby, and it's very hard to detach yourself from that, look at it objectively and say, okay, my house is not selling because of X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. We're pretty honest people. I go into places and I say, look, the reason it's not selling is because, your dirty washing is still out on the top in the kitchen, or your washing is out on the terrace, or that wall needs painting, or you've got peeling wallpaper here. We are very quick to identify problems and faults because we see so many properties, and some clients don't like it. Some clients don't like to hear that their home isn't perfect. But look, if the objective is to sell it, then we've got to be straightforward and honest with people.
Honest but sympathetic.
Yeah.
No, we don't do
Yeah. I mean, last time I looked at a property, the person who opened up didn't even bother to open the blinds.
Well,
they left the entire apartment dark, and it's just little elements that just bring you to madness.
There's 2 stages as well. It's when you have the photographs to get the viewings.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen photographs where people have got washing up in the sink.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know someone's coming around to take a photograph of your house to try and encourage someone to come and see it, to buy it, even if you're just hiding things, hide them in cupboards.
Yeah.
No one's, it's a photograph. No one's opening the cupboards. Just so it looks attractive on the photograph.
Rebecca's right. There's 2 stages to this, isn't there?
Yeah.
The first one is photography, and we've always said it's so important to get proper professional photography done. We provide it as part of our service to all our vendors. First thing we do, we're not, we have great cameras and wide-angle lenses and all those sorts of things, so we might take a few quick pics just so we can send them around.
The bed's not made.
Well, no, but also the fact that professional photographers can capture things that we amateurs simply can't.
Yep.
And with 95% of overseas property buyers beginning their search for a property online, the internet is our shop window.
Yeah.
And
it's
the pictures.
Port of call,
yeah,
it's the first,
absolutely.
yeah.
People don't come to us into the office and talk about properties. They go online and they look for pretty pictures.
Yeah.
And then they make an inquiry, and then we discuss. So there's that, and then there's the second side of it, which is when we actually physically go and have a look at the property. When you can have a beautifully furnished place, but it's not shown in its best light because of certain things.
Yeah.
Let's start off by asking the question, why do developers invest so heavily in show homes? Why not just show us empty apartments?
Well, it's so much easier to imagine yourself living in it or having your holiday. If you walk in and see what is in effect 5 empty boxes, your living room, your kitchen, your bedrooms. Okay, it's nice and you can get a feel for the space, but in actual fact, places look bigger when they've got furniture in.
Yeah.
It's actually difficult to get a feel for the space.
It's difficult to visualise. You can walk into a bedroom, which is designed for a bed, 2 bedside tables, maybe a dresser. And it's very hard to think, well, will it fit? Will I have room? Can I put... If somebody's put it in there, you can see, actually, yeah, this is a lovely room. It's nice and bright. you get more of a feel for living in it. You can walk in, even if it's not your taste in furniture, it gives you an idea of what space you've got.
And it looks nice, and normally it smells quite nice as well. When you walk in, it's like, it's like, you know, they've got an incense sticks, and it's
So is a show homes used basically for people with no imagination?
I wouldn't say no, but
No,
I'm
it's-
very. I have a good imagination, but I still can't imagine how a room would look like with furniture filled in it. So I think people are just lacking that extra imagination.
Just takes you to another level,
Or
doesn't
it
it?
saves you having to imagine.
Yeah.
It actually shows, this is
Yeah.
this is what I could
And
I
even-
enjoy being, and
even
it gives
when
you,
you
inspires you.
exactly.
What I want, you know, whether you're buying somewhere to live or you're buying somewhere for a holiday home, it's much more inspiring to walk into a place that looks that you could live in it. You could sit on the sofa, you could actually enjoy it, than thinking, oh goodness, it's a big empty box that I now have to fill.
Yeah.
Even if it's a furniture, by the way, that you personally don't like, it still gives help for you to imagine
Exactly.
how
The
another
size of
furniture
sofa
would fit
or-
in there.
Exactly.
So even if you're worried that the furniture might not be for everyone, I think that's besides the point. It's just to create a visualization of the management of
And the
space.
layout, exactly. Yeah.
I think also it's important to point out to private vendors and sellers that this is what you're up against. This is, you know, these are professionally bespoke designed show homes,
Yeah.
often in the best location within a development that the developer is very pleased and proud to show off. That is what you're up against, because no doubt an agent will take a client to one of these before they come to your place. So that's what we're competing with, and that's why it's so important to talk about this, because you've got to, you know, up your game to compete on that level.
Yeah, I've been with clients when they've gone to see a property that's being sold unfurnished. They've walked into the living room and the first thing they've said is, I don't like the curtains. They're not buying the curtains. The curtains aren't even on offer. But that's the first thing
Yeah.
that they've noticed.
Yeah.
And you have to remind them. But once they've got those curtains in their head, that's kind of all, you know, so it's sometimes, you know, if you're selling a property, in effect, you're going to move out of it when it's sold. There's nothing to stop you maybe starting that clearing out, packing away process once you put it on the market.
I'll give a perfect example. I had a townhouse for sale. You'll probably remember this. No furniture, completely empty. Lots and lots and lots of viewings. And I said to the owner, we need to put some furniture in, because everyone's going in and they can't imagine how the property looks. Everyone's telling me the bedrooms are tiny. What we're going to fit in there.
Yeah.
I said, at least put some beds in. You put some beds in, sold.
Yeah.
Sold within 2
It's
weeks.
interesting, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
people just, I've done that, and it is normally the bedrooms, isn't it? Where you
Yes.
walk in and go, I can't fit a bed in here. I can't fit my big bed in this room.
No, exactly.
And once you actually pace it out, you think, oh yeah, it will go. But without seeing it, and you're right what you said right at the start, that it's weird, isn't it? Because you would think it would go the other way, but once you see a property that is in its shell, hasn't been plastered out, it looks...
It looks big. It looks bigger with the furniture in.
It always looks bigger. The
It
more
does.
they do with the property, when they're plastered, it looks bigger. When they've got furniture in it, it looks bigger.
Yeah.
You think it'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
What I'm always amazed by is the amount of people, when I take people onto a new development and into a show home, and you guys will be the same, the amount of people who say, I want this one. I want to buy the show home.
Yeah.
You know? And you
not
think,
for sale.
you think, okay. And what they're actually saying to you is, I want it as they've designed
Replica,
this.
yeah.
They're not saying, I
I
want
want
this
this
location.
feeling. I want this emotion. I want to walk into my new property and have the emotion I've just had when I
Exactly.
walked
And it's a
New and
massive
shiny,
difference.
in. It's
isn't it?
lovely
Yeah.
and it's
I looked at a house. I'm not going to say where in case someone listens, but it was a beautiful modern house, newly done, no furniture. It just looked cold. It looked I couldn't imagine, and I have a good imagination, how it would look like familiarized with family running around with energy, with feelings.
Yeah.
I just can't. And these are the simple basics of real estate. If you want to sell something, you got to stage it, right?
Yeah,
and it's
You've got
actually
to imagine
saddening
yourself
to
living
think
in
that
it.
people don't do that.
Well, you had a situation, didn't you, in a beachside development down in
Yes.
Capapino, where they were struggling to sell their last 4 or 5 units,
Yeah.
and
Well, no, it was literally that. They were struggling to sell the units. They were quite compact apartments, and people walking in and saying exactly that. I can't fit a bed in here. These are very small. And so we furnished a show flat to show people how they could be, and they were slightly different. They weren't the white that is in the fashion.
The white box thing.
They had darker floors and things like that. So people were having a hard time even imagining the show flat furniture from different apartments in there. And we furnished so flat, and exactly that. Someone came along, bought that one with the furniture, and we sold. They sold the last ones based on that.
Basically, just
and
kept moving the
a great job on that.
Oh, thank you.
No,
it's great.
Rebecca.
But that's a fairly small developer who actually thought, you know what, I'm going to invest.
Yes.
I'm going to invest however much it was in promoting my remaining product as best I can. So hats off to him for doing that, because he could have left. He could be there now with those 5 or 6 units left and thinking, oh, you know, what can I do? But he actually got his hand in his pocket, invested some money, and sold them pretty much for asking price.
And it is easier to move into a furnished apartment.
Again, another listing that we've got. It's an older townhouse.
Yeah.
The owner's been in and painted all the walls, all the wardrobes.
Yeah.
You know, just not a massive investment, but really smarten the property up, and we're getting a lot of viewings.
Just
on
cosmetic.
It. So, just cosmetics makes such a difference.
Well, that's what I'm going to come on to, really, because in terms of what tricks can be replicated, so we know what developers do.
Yeah.
You know, good big developers like Taylor Wimpey, people like that, they're used to this. They'll go out and they'll employ a furniture company like yours, and they'll say, okay, here's a budget, 10,000, 20,000, furnish it, knowing full well that you'll do a great job and that clients will come in and they'll love it and buy it. What can private individuals, what can vendors do with resale properties that are maybe 4 or 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old? What can they do to replicate that show home feeling?
Well, I think just as a basic, before maybe you go into more the detail, is open the blinds, open the windows. It's not a joke.
When we come to show the property,
open the blinds, open the windows, make the bed. Don't leave it cluttered.
Make it smell
and
nice.
Maybe bake a bread in the oven. Those are just the basics.
Put some fruit out, some flowers.
I think it's a difference because a lot of people are selling a holiday home, so they're not here. So that
that's
is
the problem.
the responsibility of the sales rep. So that's a case of picking the right agency to sell your property.
Exactly.
Someone that's got something about them that will get there. If they're picking up the client, they go beforehand and they do all of that, or they get there 10 minutes before.
That's what we do. As a matter of course, if we have a resale property and we have key access, we'll go in there normally half an hour before. If we're on the tour with a client, we'll get one of our colleagues to go in and make sure that they've been and open up. And it's, for me anyway, it's, as you said, Dom, curtains and blinds open.
Basic.
If it needs airing, it's aired for half an hour. I always carry in the car quite an expensive air freshener. So I'm not talking about an air wick.
Do you?
No,
that's for personal reasons. But quite an expensive one that smells
nice.
Almost like an upmarket perfume aftershave kind of thing. One with high perfume content anyway.
And the most CK1 and spray it around.
No. Well, it's true, but if you walk into the plug-in air fresheners are so chemical.
Yeah, they are.
And quite often people actually sometimes a little bit suspect of them.
Yeah, what you're hiding the damp.
Is it damp?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
But the main thing, I think, because if you go into a show home, there's one thing that they always do. In the fuse box, they flick on the switch and all of the lights come on.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's a Tuesday afternoon, 30 degrees outside and the sun cascading in, all the lights will be on in that show home. And I always tell my private vendors, if I'm coming around and you're greeting me, I want every single light on in that property. And the worst thing in the world is when they open the door, they've forgotten what you told them, and they open the door and it's dark, and you're like, lights. And the clients are walking in, and you can just see the clients just lose interest within a second.
Do you know
I do exactly that when I leave the properties ready for a client. So one of the services that we do is that when somebody arrives, the first visit, they walk in and it's done. It's not, we're not just selling furniture. But what I do is exactly that. I turn all of the lights on, all the bedside lights, everything. So when they walk in, and then the fuse is down.
Yeah.
So when they walk in, they turn the fuses on, and
it's
the
just one
whole
switch.
house is lit, and it just feels welcoming.
Yeah, I read an article that partners, people, it takes 7 seconds for someone to identify a person and subconsciously know whether that's a mating partner for life or not. Which means the first
7 seconds to
impressions.
sell a house.
Yeah, but the first impression is always
it's
the
like
most
an interview,
important.
a job interview.
And if you
First
go to a house and your
impression's
first impression is broken, it is unrepairable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you put the lights on for the second time, it doesn't work.
No.
So the first impression is the most
And as
important
a
in
client,
sales.
you don't want to be left in the lobby of a house while a salesperson or an owner
Oh,
runs around
running
frantically
around,
opening
stressed.
windows and
Yeah.
stressing out. And it's not an enjoyable experience. Buying a house is a huge investment.
It's emotion.
And it has to be, the actual process has to be enjoyable.
I'll tell you
Like
what
I
isn't.
said, the painting, and paint the house, liquor
It makes
paint.
a huge difference. Because especially as well, if you've got, like you're saying, if you've got a resale property and people are looking at new properties, look at what's in fashion with the new properties. With you know, so for at the moment, everything is whitewashed. It's bright.
Yeah.
It's simple. Resale properties are maybe got colour wall fashions that are more towards the yellows, which was maybe 10 years ago. So automatically when you walk in, it's a different, it feels different, it feels old fashioned.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't cost anything
Change
to paint the
wardrobes,
house.
door handles.
Exactly, you know, for door handles have
taps,
started
yeah.
tarnishing and things like that. Just little touches
things.
like that. Because you, as a layperson who doesn't deal with furniture, who doesn't refurb houses, you could walk into somewhere and think, right, okay, so it needs painting, it needs new door handles.
All of a sudden,
You know,
it becomes too much.
And all of a sudden, it's
too much for me.
It's work. I've got to find. I mean, it's a foreign country. I've got to find someone to do it. It's going to cost me thousands. No, I'll just go for the
It's
new
too
one.
much, yeah.
It's about keeping your property up to date, though, isn't it? I mean, if you've got a 10, 20-year-old property, you are not going to be able to compete with brand new stock.
No.
Particularly if you're in the same sort of ballpark figure price-wise. So you're going to have to do something. You're going to have to, if you don't want to replace your kitchens, you're going to have to refront them. You're going to have to probably replace the odd appliance that's a bit knackered.
Yeah.
But you might have to do a new bathroom. You might have to clean your floors. You might have to do a lick of paint, particularly if it's been rented out.
And those
there
are
are
minimal
things,
costs.
Yeah, some of them are. But you've got to do it. You can't just think, oh, well,
Yeah.
it'll sell because it's in a great location.
This is actually this is the problem that I think most people have, is that they think they're sitting on a pot of gold and it will sell either way.
Yeah.
Competition is big. There's a lot of vendors out there that are willing to sell. Some do the extra work, some don't, and those who do the extra work get sold because the price then also gets more justified.
Yeah.
That's also an
Well,
important
let's say you
factor.
say like kitchens and bathrooms and
You
things
have
like
to
that.
keep up with the times.
You do.
If it's a 20, 30-year-old property.
But you know, it is an investment to maybe redo a kitchen or redo a bathroom. But what you can do, and which people have done before, is like say, do all the other things, the things that aren't too expensive. Clean the place out, paint it.
Yeah.
Make sure that the bathroom, yes, it's old-fashioned, but get rid of the tatty shower screen. Make sure it's clean. You've not, the grout isn't all manky. And get a quote.
Yeah.
Get it, because everybody's personal taste with bathrooms. So get a quote from a builder who's been in, measured it, and said, right, this is what it will cost. So somebody can buy
At least
your
you can
house
say that to the
in the knowledge
buyer,
that this is
yeah.
a recommended person. This is what it will cost you. So when you're buying the house, if you're willing to maybe not move into it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, but you know for say an extra 5,000, it will have a new bathroom in tiles that you've chosen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's
I think
just little details
if
like
you don't
that.
want to do the work, then the price has to be right.
Yes.
I went into an
It has to
apartment
reflect
a
it.
few months ago before lockdown, and it was still, you know, they were built in 1960 and it's still got the same oven, the same fridge, the same hob, same kitchen, same bathrooms, but the price was on level with apartments that had
or
reformed.
yes,
And
yeah.
It's
kinda
unrealistic.
like-
And you know, we have a policy in this company of only taking on listings that we think we can sell.
Yeah.
And that, for instance, would be
yeah.
I'm sorry, come
Unless
back
the
to
price
us
is
when,
right.
when it's more realistically priced, or you've made the improvements that are required in today's market. What I always say to vendors is, look, clients want to imagine, buyers want to imagine your home as theirs, not yours.
Yeah.
So I know you value your photos of your family and your grandkids and all that sort of stuff, but other people don't. Other
them
people
away.
actually,
And it detracts.
I think it intimidates people because they know that they're invading your space. So take them down.
Yeah.
If you're not there for a few months, but you want to show your property via an agent,
Pack it all away.
pack it away. You know,
Depersonalise, I call
yes,
it.
and clean the kitchen tops and the bathroom tops of soaps, shower gels, hairspray, stuff like that. Stick it all underneath. You can just go poof, stick it under, because people don't really look in cupboards,
No, they don't.
but they do look at what they see.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to be able to walk in and think, oh yeah, I could live here.
Yeah. That's the key.
That's the key thing. And like you say, especially if it's a holiday home,
Yeah.
it takes a couple of hours on your last day to pack all those personal things away. Leave it how you'd want to find it
Yeah.
if you moved
Yeah.
in as a new person.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, keep out of the way. If you're there,
Don't follow
us
Very
round.
bossy you are, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Because I know what works. It's 20 years experience. I know what works. The worst thing as an agent, when you're trying to sell a property that you've got to know and love, is to have the owner following you around.
Oh, Jesus.
Because you might think you're doing, you're being a great help. But trust me, you're not. I've never really known a vendor to help out.
Well, just from the point of view that the buyer may feel intimidated
He
by
does.
this person.
Yeah.
Oh, he
who
does,
is,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
who it's
I
their
always ask them
house.
if they could just take a little walk in the gardens, let us have the house,
And-
because clients don't feel comfortable asking personal questions
No.
if the vendor's
Exactly.
there.
And then you can't handle the objections there and
Exactly.
here, and
Yeah.
then
And
it's-
we know
it's the
what
worst
the
case.
buyer is motivated about. We know what's making them tick, what might put them off, and you don't know. As the vendor, you might just say the one word, out of place, gone.
Yeah.
You know, the whole deal is off. So we just always advise them to keep out get out of your own house, go have a walk. And the worst thing as well is when they're following you around and they turn the lights off after you've been in a room.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
You might want to go back in there.
I've had on and off with people before now, because I might want to go back in there.
And
I don't want to walk into a dark room again.
No, and as a vendor as well, similarly, it's an emotional experience. It's your property.
Yeah.
You've invested in this property. Yeah. Do you want to be there while people are, in effect, judging your home?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Get out.
What
it's too stressful.
Always tell the vendors is that they have to put themselves in the shoes of a buyer.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's the most important. They shouldn't be looking at it from a perspective of a vendor, but of a buyer. And I had a case where I took a vendor to a property once, and I told him, and at the end I said, what didn't you like about it? And he says, well, it looks unorganized, it was dark. And I said, well, how do you present your house? And how do you think people are going to feel when they see your house? The same way you did. So put yourself in the shoes of a vendor, of a buyer.
Yeah.
See how you would see your own home, and if you wouldn't buy it, change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's little things like, if there's a lot of, say in the kitchen, like you say, with things on the top, if you walk into a kitchen and the cereal packets or the sauces and things like that are all out on the top, it might be convenient for day-to-day living to have those things out. But as a buyer, if you walk in, it screams not enough storage because they're out. It could well be that the cupboards are empty, but you don't know that because you're not going to start looking, especially not if the vendor's there.
Yeah.
So it's the same in your wardrobes. You know, if you've got things everywhere, it implies that there's not enough places to put the stuff.
Yeah, and also people don't take it seriously. I've been in situations before where, you know, they've been cooking in the kitchen during a viewing, or people have been in bed. You can't go in that bedroom because Auntie Jean is asleep, or the teenagers, and you think, hang on a minute, what's more important here, Auntie Jean having a siesta or selling your property?
Well, then you get the impression as a buyer that this person doesn't really want to sell.
serious.
So is it, it's going to be a difficult buying process? Are they going to mess me around?
Yeah,
And dogs following you around, sniffing at you.
Yeah, get the animals out of the way because.
Are your buyers okay with dogs? Well, no. Take them out.
Two Alsatians to put their guts out.
But also, I think as a dog, and I have a dog, but the worst, and I always say to friends, let me know if you ever walk into my house and think, this is a place where a dog lives. You know, you can love animals, but you don't have to smell like animals or be covered in dog hair. It's really important.
You've got to take yourself out of yourself, haven't you? Like you said, Dom, about becoming the buyer. What am I going to notice? What am I going to object to?
Yeah.
And
if
that's where we can help.
That are very obvious that haven't been taken care of. This little voice in your mind says, well, okay, if they're not taking care of the obvious things in this property, what about the underlying things? The electrics, the plumbings, you know, there's that. It's like if you haven't bothered to wash up, have you bothered to do other things, the basic maintenance that aren't obvious?
Yeah, then we get a bit grubby, don't we? Right, so there's two main things. Let's finish off. There's two main things. One is the investing some time and maybe a little bit of money in keeping it up to date, keeping it fresh to compete with what's out there that's coming to the market. And also the second one is staging, so that when the property is viewed by a prospective buyer, that the effort and time has gone into, whether it's us doing it or you doing it as the vendor, time has gone into actually making sure that the property is fit for purpose and that people are going to walk in and go, wow,
I like this.
Especially in a competitive market.
Yeah, exactly.
You're competing against a lot of other vendors who might do more effort or might not, but there is humongous competition. So the more help, the better.
Very good. We think that's it.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us. Hope that was useful, and we'll see you on the other side.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the podcast today. If there is any additional advice we can give you, anything we can help you with, help you sell your property or turn your new property into the dream show flat, just get in touch. You can take a look at our website, marbellainteriors.com, or give us a call. Hope to see you soon.